What is up, everybody? Welcome to The Mix. We're kind of giving a quick recap, a look behind the scenes of what's happening at Ridge Point Church. I'm JJ.
I'm Chris.
And we're here to share a little bit of information and to dig down deep into the message. But first, Chris, I got to talk about yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday was a powerful Sunday here at Ridge Point Church.
It was really cool. We did 4 baptisms.
Four baptisms.
Yeah.
And you got to be the participant, the leader in the first service in both baptisms.
I did. I got to do the first 2 baptisms in the first service. Actually, one of them, my son Eli. And then another one was actually a guy in my group, Luigi. So that's how I actually did the baptisms. It wasn't because I'm a staff member. It was because I was a dad and a group leader. So really cool stuff.
Yeah, and then second service, we also had some other leaders.
Yeah, we had one of the student group leaders. She did a baptism, and then we had like a friend of the family situation that he ended up doing baptism. So it was really cool. So
yeah, really, really powerful. But I got to ask you about the first service. Obviously, you baptized your son Eli.
Yeah.
And what was that like? Because there's a lot of emotion in that.
Yeah, it was pretty tough. It was a little easier, doing Luigi's first and doing Eli's. The thing that Eli wrote was powerful. I mean, yeah. I told Josh there was no way I was going to be able to read it, but I felt like I could do the baptism, but I kind of, I didn't do so hot, so
He even got choked up. And it was powerful. Like the way he first told the story, and then you kind of reiterated parts of it.
Right.
I got up afterwards, and literally I'm looking around the church, and people are like wiping tears from their eyes. It was really, really powerful.
Yeah.
In both services, everybody did a great job. And I love the fact we can be part of a church where you don't have to be a pastor to baptize people.
Right. I mean, we encourage, we believe here at Ridge Point that as a parent that you're the primary spiritual influence in your kids' lives. I mean, yeah, we have youth ministry and we have our kids ministry, and we're here to support you and do whatever, but ultimately you're their primary spiritual influence. And so, when it comes time to baptize, if you feel like that you're supposed to do that baptism, we're going to make that happen. So but don't be freaked out if that's not your thing. So.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're scared about that, we have staff that can take care of that, leaders that can take care of that. But it's cool to have that personal touch to be able to do that.
That is cool.
So let's just transition. We're going to get into the message in a little bit, but let's start to talk about some things we have coming up. First, I want to talk about right now everything is Thanksgiving.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thanksgiving is a little bit earlier this year, so we don't have as many weeks to prepare. So we have coming up next Thursday's Thanksgiving. We have the big outreach. We're partnering with Impact Ministries. And along with that, it's our responsibility to bring in 250-gallon cans of green beans. Now,
right. So this next Sunday is the last Sunday.
This is it, Chris. I didn't take a count this morning, but I'm pretty sure we're not at 250 yet.
No, we're not. I don't believe so.
Yeah, we need a lot of green beans. So if you're out shopping this week,
might
I'm
not
talking
be to 100
about
yet. So.
Yeah, I'm talking about pick up lots of cans of green beans. We do need help if you want to serve in one of 3 capacities. Impact Ministries has contacted us. They're actually going to be cutting hams this coming Saturday in Auburndale. And so maybe you can't participate next week, but you want to help out cutting hams. They need help this coming Saturday. Reach out to us. We'll get you the information on that one. But our immediate responsibility is the cans of green beans. We'll be opening those up next Wednesday, starting at 10 a.m. So if you want to help out next Wednesday at 10 a.m., we'll be opening up those 250-gallon cans of green beans.
And that's over at the Eloise Resource Center.
At the Eloise Resource Center. And then also on Thursday, they still need help. This coming Sunday, after both services, back at the table that Chris is normally at, you can sign up if you want to help out with any of the shifts. There's 2 shifts you can help out with. Or if you want to help out being a delivery driver on Thanksgiving, they still need a lot of help for those. So Thanksgiving Outreach is one of our biggest events of the year. It is literally right around the corner. So if you have any questions about that, contact one of us, either JJ or Chris at ridgepointchurch.org. We'll get you in contact with the right people if you want to volunteer. Do that this coming Sunday.
All right. So, and then the Sunday after Thanksgiving, we're actually going to be doing a church picnic. We're going to do that. So that's on Sunday the 26th. We're going to do it at 10 a.m. We're going to be doing that over at Simmers Young Park. If you don't know where that is, it's off of Spirit Lake Road. If you know where Cypress Signs is, you kind of turn back in there, go all the way to the end and make a left. We're going to be down there in Simmers Young Park. And it's just going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have hamburgers and hot dogs. And we're just asking you guys to bring out maybe a side or a dessert or both to share with everybody. But it's just going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do a little service and just share, sing a couple songs and everything. And then we'll eat together. We're going to play some games, probably going to be some softball, that kind of thing. So just going to be a lot of fun. I'd encourage you to bring a lawn chair if you got it. And, if it's a little sunny out, maybe wear that sunscreen because even though it's November, it's Florida.
It is. I get cool front's coming in on Monday, but Sunday it's still forecast to be pretty mild. It's not going to be terrible, but it's not going to be cold either.
Yeah. So, all right. So that's the picnic.
Yeah, then there's one more thing that we've kind of been alluding to. And this is particularly if you work in the downtown Winter Haven area. But coming up this Monday, sometimes we're so busy doing stuff around Thanksgiving that we don't pause to actually give thanks. And so the Heart for Winter Haven is a great organization in Winter Haven. It's just gathering together pastors and business leaders in our area just to stop at lunch this coming Monday in downtown Winter Haven. They're going to have a small gathering and just kind of get together to celebrate just a short time of Thanksgiving. So if you're in the Winter Haven area, want to join us for that, that's this coming Monday in downtown Winter Haven. I don't have the exact location on that, but this coming Monday, downtown Winter Haven at noon. We'd love, again, short. They said you'll be out in time to grab lunch still and head back to work. But it's a short gathering to celebrate together within our community. So we want to be a part of that.
All right, cool. So let's talk a little bit about yesterday's message, just kind of unpack that. So yesterday we were wrapping up this series, I Can Handle It. And kind of, like our big idea for yesterday was this idea that fear causes us to freeze, but faith actually causes us to face those fears. Mm-hmm. So can you kind of unpack that a little bit, and maybe you can think of an example in your own life where that was the case?
Sure. I think for any one of us, and Chris, our personalities aren't necessarily the same. I tend to love change, and yet as much as I love change, when it comes to those big changes in life, I don't like them as much. Most of us, we kind of like to know what to expect out of life, especially when it comes to our big decisions. And so when we say that fear causes us to freeze, what we mean is that as long as I have confidence in the known, I'm not willing to take risks with the unknown. And I'm comfortable with where I'm at, and most of us are. Whatever our habits are, they've become habits in our life because we kind of like where things are at. We like it when things are safe. So fear is that fear of the unknown is the idea that, man, as long as I'm here, I know what to expect, and so I'm comfortable. But reaching out here, I'm not sure what that's going to look like. It could be really good, or it could be really bad, and I'd rather not take that risk. So fear causes us to freeze, but faith is me stepping out and saying, I'm going to go ahead and take that chance and to face that fear. Okay. Probably for me, the time that I most realized this was I was young. I wasn't on staff at a church yet. I was volunteering as a youth leader at our church, and it was just a small church in St. Pete. We just had a really small church, just a handful of kids, and I'd been contacted by a local church to come and candidate to be their youth pastor. At that point in my life, it was the biggest church I'd ever been a part of, and they actually invited me to come in and speak on a Sunday night. I'd gone through the process of meeting with the pastor and some of the leaders, and they're asking me to candidate to become the pastor of the church. And at that point, it was the largest group of people I'd ever spoken in front of. I was used to the church that I kind of grew up in. It had this big, giant pulpit that you stand behind and kind of hide. I get up there that Sunday night and have a small little glass lectern, not unlike what we have now.
I was about to say, you were just getting ready for speaking here.
That's right. And it's crazy because look at it now, and I love, this is probably one of my favorite parts of what I do, is being able to speak on Sunday morning and be able to share God's Word. And I loved it back then, but in that environment, I was really nervous because on top of it being the largest group of people I spoke in front of before, and it being a different environment that I was used to, also my job was on the line. Like, ultimately, I was going to speak, they're going to put me in a room, and everyone's going to raise their hand on whether or not they're going to call me to be the youth pastor, which is kind of
that's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's a crazy way of doing it. Sorry if you're calling right now trying to interrupt. We're not necessarily going to answer that, but Josh is on it. Over Easy's taking care of it. So just kind of a weird way of kind of doing things. But I was nervous and I wasn't comfortable, but I had to face those fears. I remember going into it that day just being really, really, I pulled up, they had a giant steeple, and I mean, I felt like that steeple was like poking me in the heart. I was so scared.
Wow.
But man, once I took that step of faith, I stepped out, and man, God took care of that. As soon as I took stage, man, all that nervousness kind of went away. So
that's
you
cool.
face those fears.
All right. So we talked about this idea that, as we're wrapping up, we talked about this idea that, fear causes us to freeze, but faith causes us to face those fears. Mm-hmm. We also talked about the idea that that our confidence doesn't come from our circumstances. Yeah. That ultimately we have to find our confidence in God. And then we also we talked about this idea that when we lean into our weaknesses, that forces us to lean on our Savior, to lean into Him. And so, really some really powerful big ideas. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, we called it "I Can Handle It," kind of a little ironically, because ultimately we got to let God handle it. It's not us. We're going to handle it through God's power. Mm-hmm. So what do you, those are all powerful statements, but what's kind of the big takeaway for this series?
Sure. And Chris, what you're saying is so true. When the Bible talks about the idea that I can do all things through Christ, it's not saying that I have the ability in my own power,
right,
but that through Christ, I can do all things through Christ, mm-hmm, who gives me the strength. So there's one big takeaway, I'd say go and listen to everything that Josh said in week 1.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't even here and he heard that one. So welcome back over easy, by the way. But no, I'd say if there's one thing, kind of going back to the wrap up yesterday, is that when we live in victory, and yesterday, in fact, we're going to share this on Facebook tomorrow. There's going to be a graphic about this, but kind of the promises that God has for us. There was a promise that God had for David that he's anointed to become king. God has some promises for us. It's not that every battle is going to be easy, but that ultimately victory is assured. And when victory is assured, it allows for and it leaves us more willing to take risks. So for us, as we go through this life, it's really easy to play it safe and not want to take those chances and not take those risks. But if I walk in knowing that victory is assured, it leaves me more willing to take those risks.
Cool. Well, it was, I think, a very powerful series and really kind of setting us up for Christmas, which is right around the corner. Christmas
is around the corner. And the first big event we have coming up, speaking of eggs with Over Easy back there, nothing goes better with eggs than pancakes.
Exactly,
so talk about one of our big events.
So we're doing...
you like that segue. That was good.
Yeah. So on December 9th, RPC Kids is sponsoring an event called... is it Pajamas and Pancakes or Pancakes and Pajamas?
Pancakes and Pajamas.
Pancakes and Pajamas, okay?
Yes.
Just make sure you get the order right.
That's
okay?
right. If not, you won't be allowed in.
Right. Actually, you probably should put the pajamas on before you eat the pancakes. But
that's for sure.
Either way. Anyway, there's going to be pajamas. There's going to be pancakes. It's going to happen December 9th, which is a Saturday at 10 a.m. It's going to be here in our auditorium. It's going to be a lot of fun. I heard maybe there's a special guest that's going to be there. I don't know, just saying.
Big deal.
Yeah, so anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun, so bring the kids out for that. And parents, you can wear pajamas too, okay?
Yeah.
Because JJ doesn't want to be the only adult in pajamas. So.
Chris just called me out. So I'm wearing pajamas now, I guess. And by the way, it's sponsored by RPC Kids. That does not mean that if you don't have a kid that you're not allowed to come.
Exactly.
Everybody's invited. They're sponsoring it. It's going to be a fun time. Mm-hmm. I'm really looking forward to this.
All right. And so then right after that, or actually that same weekend, what else is going on?
Yeah, we actually are kicking off a brand new series, I think actually the weekend before,
right?
Called A Complicated Christmas. And one of the things that we see in life is that we most of us love Christmas. It's the decorations, it's the food and the hanging out with family and all that stuff. And yet we realize that for all those things to take place, part of it is complicated. I might want to put up decorations, but unwinding all the cords to make sure the lights work. And there's always that one strand of lights that it's out. You have to figure out why it's not working. Mm-hmm. It's complicated to get there. Well, the same thing when Jesus first came. It wasn't easy. It was complicated.
Right.
And yet, out of kind of the chaos, Jesus brings order. Out of the darkness, Jesus comes as the light. He comes into our world as light. And then even out of the anguish of the world and the turmoil of the world, Jesus comes as the Prince of Peace. Mm-hmm. And so it really is like Jesus came in direct opposition to everything the world was understanding at that point. So we're going to do kind of a neat look at the life of Jesus and how he came into a very complicated scene, but he came as the Prince of Peace.
All right. Well, and then to kind of wrap up the whole series, on Christmas Eve, which is actually on a Sunday this year, We're actually kind of a wrap-up event. We're doing something called Christmas on Hatfield. It's kind of a new, just a new tradition that we're trying to build here at Ridge Point of doing some services on Christmas Eve. Worked out that it was Sunday this year,
right.
But in the future, it's going to be other days of the week. But just this idea of, providing an opportunity for families to gather. And we really believe that this, Christmas Eve is probably, in this day and age, probably the best opportunity to invite guests out to a service. This is the opportunity that, sure, Easter's big too, but for people who've never been to church or don't believe at all, there's still something about Christmas that they're more willing to maybe try church. And so we're kind of really building our event around that. We're working on the times still and all of that stuff. But we know this, our goal is to have as many guests as possible. And we always know that at our home, that we always put out our best for the guest.
Right.
So we want to do the same here. So we want to make sure that we're ready to go. And really what that means is we need as many volunteers as possible. So maybe, maybe you haven't been volunteering in one of our areas, and this is that would be a great Sunday for you to try something out. We have spots available in guest services, helping out with like coffee and snacks. We have spots in the kids area. Again, these are all areas where we're going to need extra hands, and it's an opportunity for you to just come check it out. So we actually talked about this in the service yesterday, and we asked people to sign up for that. But if you weren't here, we would love to hear from you. Let us know. You can send us a message. Let us know how you want to help during those Christmas Eve services, because it really is all hands on deck. So
yeah. And we have some other exciting information to share about Christmas coming up. We've had a little bit of a hint that we've alluded to, but we'll get to that next week. We've not been able to share that just yet, but I'm hoping by next week we'll be able to share that.
I'm curious because
Chris,
we didn't really talk.
Chris
about
doesn't eat. We did. It just was. It was so
it was one of those
discreet. It was
things.
under the
Okay,
radar. Chris didn't even notice it, but we have some stuff that's going on. We're really, really excited about. So check back. Next week's going to be a little bit different because Thanksgiving week. We're going to be downtown Winter Haven. We might shoot like a real quick little something down there. I'm not sure about all that yet or how the mix will work out. But some really cool stuff that's taking place. Christmas is right around the corner, but first Thanksgiving. Over easy. We're getting ready to wrap up. Anything we missed back there?
No, you guys did good. I do have a question from Facebook, though.
Oh, got it. We're ready.
So how do you know when victory is assured?
First of all, we have to realize that when we're talking about victory being assured, it's not in individual battles. Because sometimes in the midst of those battles, one of two things can happen. Sometimes the battle doesn't go our way. We can lose the individual battles along the way. We can have loss. Listen, I've counseled a number of people over the last couple of weeks going through some very, very difficult sets of circumstances in which it feels like those battles are lost. But the hope that Jesus gives us is not a temporary hope of hey, I'm going to win every short-term battle, but that long-term, because of the hope of Jesus, that victory is already assured. So it's instead of me, because we have a tendency to look at our individual issues that we deal with, and our mood, our attitude, our joy ebbs and flows based upon, is today a good day for me? Victory is already assured. If we're a follower of Jesus, victory is assured today. There's a promise of eternal life in the future, but like we talked about, the verse that I shared at the very end yesterday, is that we live with a current concept of, man, I have confidence. I live with the current confidence of an eternal hope. So victory is assured simply because of what Jesus has done, because I know that my eternity is now secure. And because of my eternity being secured, what's the worst that could happen to me today? If eternity is there for me for the taking, like I love that part of our faith. So great question.
Yeah.
Anything else back there?
That's it. We're good to go. Just ready
All
for some
right.
pancakes next month.
Definitely. So hey, again, thanks for taking time out of your day for checking out the mix. Some probably checked it out live. Others, you might have this video shared. Be here this coming Sunday.
By the way, we're starting to post these on our YouTube page as well.
They're on YouTube as well.
If you know somebody that's not on Facebook and they need to see these,
Yeah.
tell them to go check them out on YouTube.
We're not supposed to talk about this yet, but we'll let you know. Chris Neff is speaking this coming Sunday. Be here at 9 and 10:45. We're going to be celebrating Thanksgiving together. Some really cool stuff as part of that message.
We're going to celebrate communion.
So that'd be really cool. So be there this coming Sunday, 9 and 10:45. Have a great day.